Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Berkeley County Board of Education public hearing this Tuesday, June 22nd, 2021. I call the meeting to order. I declare the quorum of members are present. The meeting has been notified. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Tanner and a second. Excuse me, Ms. Walker.
I'll hit on the second. I just wanted to ask a question.
Okay.
Second, Ms. Moran has a second. I just wanted to ask a question about the, I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask a question about the order that we're going in, where the public comment is second. And if I'm reading this correctly, or if I read it correctly, the A is the action item and B is the public comment. Is it possible for us to hear the public comments before we take action?
This is not an action item. This is information.
Okay.
Yes, this is, we have a committee meeting for,
So it's going to be in the, I just saw it said second reading on the information online, so I didn't know if that meant that this was an action item or an information item. If it's information, then I'm fine with the way it is.
yes, I think it's just information only. Ms. Smith, is that correct? Yeah, this is for information and then the public comment, and then the action item will be later on in the meeting.
I'm good then.
Okay, so we have a motion from Ms. Tanner, a second from Ms. Marone. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it by a vote of 6-0. The public hearing is the general fund budget. Ms. Ashley Smith, Chief Financial Officer, Berkeley County School District, you are recognized.
Good evening, Chairman Barrow, board members, Dr. Ingram, and members of the audience. This is the public hearing for the 21-22 general fund budget. The budget was adopted based on several assumptions, including no increase in millage and maintaining millage of 151.8, a 5% increase in local tax revenue, a reduction in EFA, and based on the same formula allocations as the previous year. This is our millage over the past 10 years. We decreased millage in 2019-2020 from 163.8 to 151.8, and we will maintain the same millage in 21-22. Total estimated revenue for 21-22 is approximately $328.4 million, which includes local, state, and federal sources. The total expenditures for salaries, vacancies, school support, additional positions required for growth, and other operating expenditures total $324.8 million. In summary, the projected revenue for 21-22 is $328.3 million, and operating expenditures total $324.8 million, leaving a remaining fund of $3.5 to allocate. The board has already approved the 2021 step increase along with the 2% salary increase. Administration recommends funding for reading coaches in the amount of $349,000 and a step increase for fiscal year 21-22 for all employees. There is also a recommendation for additional positions. All positions on this slide include base pay, health insurance, FICA, and retirement. There are 6 positions for the maintenance department, 2 psychologists, 2 positions for the Office of Communications, 1 school improvement coordinator for human resources, 5 ESL teachers, 3 adult ed teachers, a .5 AP position for St. Stephen's Middle, athletic trainer supplements, 2 assistant track coaches per high school, and 1 paralegal. This budget will result in a fund balance designation in the amount of $7.65 million.
Any board members have any questions or any discussion?
We will also have an opportunity to discuss at the full board meeting later this evening.
That's correct. So we have a couple of folks that wanted to speak in terms of comments. And let me just say this was not required. You know, on the normal board policies, there's a requirement for this, but since it's a budget information, you did not have to fill one of these. So if you haven't filled out one of these and would like to speak, you're certainly welcome to. Basically, it's the same as before. You have 3 minutes. If you go over, I may allow a little additional time. But the first speaker is Ms. Ann Conder on the budget. Ms. Conder, welcome.
I come to you with my concerns over the management of funds that are allocated to the school budget this year. You are showing a deficit of $3.5 million, and yet you give teachers and other employees an additional pay increase of $4.8 million above the allotted step increase. In comparison to last year's budget proposal, you have exceeded that by $12 million. And most of it is in the form of payouts to make teachers happy. If you had not made that decision, you would not be faced with this deficit. What I think you fail to comprehend is that we are in a post-COVID year where by all rights, you should be exercising prudence with funding. First, and due to the escalation of inflation in today's economy and market, in case you have not noticed, Board, construction costs have increased dramatically. While we are faced with rapid growth in this county to the tune of 12 people per day, and are facing an imminent need to build schools and enlarging the ones we already have. Are you preparing for that? I don't see you doing it. To continue to deplete the fund balance to achieve your Christmas list is not something that is sitting well with the parents and taxpayers in this county. We also have children, hundreds who performed poorly over the past year in our schools because of COVID. If you go over the budget to tackle this issue, maybe the taxpayers would find it a little bit more forgivable. The children need to be your focus, not the teachers getting raises and bonuses. I am here to go on record to say that you are severely misguided in your budget decisions and your lack of foresight. You are failing miserably and are forgetting where your priorities should lie. That said, I also want to warn you tonight that if there is any misallocation of particular funding, such as with ESSER 3, the hammer will fall. I would advise you to be very careful as to how you vote to allocate those funds, or possibly you could be facing jail time. I will remind you, you cannot and should not break the law, and I truly believe you may make decisions which border on that. Your decisions as a board thus far have not yet proven to be wise ones, and your employers, the people of this county, are watching you very closely to help ensure that if you cross that line, there will be consequences.
The next speaker is Nicole Burnham on the budget wish list. Welcome, Ms. Burnham.
Thank you for giving me a moment to speak. I just have a question. In knowing that there have been raises across the board, and with all these kids that we have that are failing and having a hard time, how are these raises helping these students to better themselves? Like, what are these raises? What are you putting towards these kids to help their education, to improve their education? I mean, in one school, there's 300 children that are failing. That's just one school. So please help us understand and give us some guidance as to how these raises are helping these failing children. Do I have a response? Can you give us any feedback?
We don't have to respond, ma'am. It's just citizen comments.
That says enough.
Okay?
Thank you, ma'am. Would anyone else like to address the board on the budget information? If not, I'll, ma'am, would you like to speak? Okay. Then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Ms. Wofford, a second from Ms. Tanner to adjourn this workshop or this budget information session. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor of to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned 6-0. And we will return at 5:30 for a committee meeting. We will begin promptly at 5:30. Thank you.